Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Kyan Cutter back in the building, Loud City Podcast. I know it's been a minute. Man, I ain't done a podcast in a few months. You know what I'm saying? And normally, I get into doing a podcast because I enjoy doing it. If anybody out there know me, I talk a lot. I love to talk, especially when I think I'm right. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get proved wrong and I stand corrected, and that's just what it is. But I enjoy doing podcasts as a way of releasing, man, and touching you, and giving something to the people, giving my opinion, giving my thoughts on everything that's going on out there right now. Let me take a sip of my coffee, man. Get this thing charged up. Some good coffee. Anyway, welcome back to Loud City Podcast. It's 2021. Last time I did one was in 2020, but we back. It's brought to you by DCH Entertainment, of course. And probably going to jump around a little bit in this podcast today because there's been so much going on since the last time I podcasted. But more recently, man, I can't ignore what's been happening in the world of Versus. I mean, I'm sure all you guys tuned in to Versus, the Dipset LOX Versus. Of course, I was tuned in. I was glued to it, checking it out. I'm not gonna lie, going into this, when I heard the battle, the matchup that was made, the LOX and the Dipset, I was kind of on the fence because I know Dipset had a whole movement at one time. You know what I'm saying? The Purple City tape was bananas. All the stuff that Jewels did, all the stuff that Jim Jones did. Then Cam, like, come on, like, Cam got some bangers out there. Not to say I was discounting the LOX all the way. It was just that I really couldn't think of too many commercial radio joints that was hitting from the LOX. Let me repeat myself. I couldn't remember. Not that they don't have them. So as I'm watching the verses and watching how everything is jumping off, man, did they remind me? They definitely reminded me of all the radio joints they have, all the collabs that they did, all the big records that they did, and it was super dope. And I think that for the most part, I believe they were evenly matched. I think song for song, I think they could be pretty much on par with each other. But I think that the LOX has some joints that that Dipset can't contend with. You know what I mean? Like whether it be Biggie records, whether it be Diddy records, whether it be like joints they play Mariah Carey records, like. This was like crazy, you know what I'm saying? It was pulling joints, from out the stash that I had forgot about. But another thing I think added to this whole versus battle was the fact that you can tell that the LOX were prepared. They prepared for this battle. They prepared for this versus battle. Now let me go back a little bit because the start of versus. It wasn't necessarily looked at as a battle. It's more so looked at as a celebration of music. So, you know what I mean? We're going to play our joints that everybody love. And, we're going to give everybody a show and a celebration of the music that we dropped and the music that everybody loves, right? I think this particular versus battle, it kind of morphed into something else. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it may not have just been this particular versus battle because I take it back to, I would say, Gucci versus Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? That came off more as a battle as well. If I remember correctly, that in my mind, that was kind of like the first versus battle that really looked like a battle rap. You know what I'm saying? So a rap battle. So fast forward to this one, man. From my understanding, like you can cut the tension, in the air, with a butter knife, man. That's how thick the tension was in Madison Square Garden. Just watching it, at home, I'm thinking like, man, I hope nothing don't jump off. It almost gave me that feeling of the Gucci Mane and Jeezy versus battle. But we were glad nothing went left with neither one of those battles. But my point is, I think versus is morphing more into a rap battle. I don't want to say more so a battle rap league, but I mean, if it keeps going the way that it's going, is this going to be like a battle rap league for like established artists? You know what I mean? For artists that have been in the game for years, that put hit records out there, who's been doing their thing. And it's going to eventually, in my opinion, if the stage is set the way that it was set for this last one, it's going to keep being like that, man. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I believe the Lox, won the versus battle, but I appreciate Dipset as well because they would playing my joints. I'm a Dipset fan, you know what I mean? But the Lox made me remember how much of a Lox fan that I am. Jada, forget about it, man. He totally just crushed their spirit when he did that freestyle, and at that point I don't think there was any coming back from that. And you see the Lox, man, true to form, they were bullies on that stage, man. I mean, when at the start of the battle you had Jada, Cam come out, he lay out the lawn chair. Jada goes over and lays in his chair. That's claiming, you know what I mean, his spot. That's claiming the stage. Like, ain't no space on this stage that I'm not going to come to and claim. You know what I mean? I peeped that. I'm like, yo, he done sat in this man lawn chair that he pulled out for him. Not just that, I remember the situation where it looked like Styles was trying to take Cam'ron's sneaker off. You know what I'm saying? And Cam kind of was kicking at him a little bit. You know what I mean? It was messing with him. Like, they was bullying him on the stage. You know what I'm saying? And then the other situation when you had I think it was Styles and Jada kind of bullying Juelz on the stage, and I'm watching this like, yo, where's the rest of the dips at? Because you got Juelz out there standing there by himself. You got Jadakiss and Styles P on either side of him, and they straight bullying him to the point where they pushing each other. And then when Juelz walk past, Jada takes his bandana off and throws it on the stage. I'm like, where's the squad at to back him up? And as you can see, the difference in the cohesiveness, like when Sheik Luch thought that, Styles was over in enemy territory when he was trying to take Cam's sneaker off, he goes over and gets his man. You know what I mean? Sheik was like, everywhere. Wherever his team was, he was. I mean, they were all like that. Wherever one was, you might see the other two was not too far behind. Dips, on the other hand, you might have one cat over here, two cats over there. They not really together like that. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, they weren't holding each other down. So I think that's another thing that potentially added to, why they weren't successful in this versus battle. Along the fact, man, that I don't think they prepared. I don't think they had that cohesiveness like the Lox do. The Lox, like, they're brothers for real. You know what I mean? Even if they go through stuff, you never know about it in the public. You know what I mean? We know that, Jim Jones, Cam, and Juelz, they all went through something with each other. I don't know if they ever really rectified, those issues, but you can kind of see it on stage that they wouldn't click tight like we remember the Dipset, being. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a loose group of rappers, and I think the shot that kind of blew it up was when Jada was like, "Yo, this is New York. This is the Mecca of hip hop. These dudes is rapping over a track. You know what I mean? Why y'all rapping over the words? I mean, we out here sweating, we giving it up. This is what hip hop's about. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of like, whoo, I don't think they saw that coming. And I think that the Lox was so strategic in going into this that they knew that Harlem Cats being Harlem Cats was going to try to come in and be fly, come in and try to be laid back, try to be cool, and maybe, win over the crowd that way. You know what I mean? They say Harlem is the land of the hustle. Now, I mean, they hustle you and make you feel good about being hustled. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of what the Lox is banking on, that they were going to come in just like that, all looking like they look. But, they look good, but they ain't sounding good. You know what I'm saying? And what did the Lox do? They come in street gear because they ready for a battle. Timbs, shorts, baseball caps, T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? That's how they show up to the party because they come to do work. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you the part that did it for me, man. Like I'm a huge fan of the song "Banned from TV" by Noriega. I love that song. So when I seen Jada and Kiss go back to back like they did in that video, man, woo! I'm like, yo, ain't no way, ain't no coming back from that for Dipset. But then I was also thinking that, you know what, Cam is on that same song. He actually is on the verse. His verse is right before Styles and Kiss's verse on "Banned from TV." I'm thinking, well, maybe Cam could do it too. But nah, they beat him to it. Number one, they did it first. And number two, in Cam's verse, he shouts out the Lox. You know what I'm saying? He said, I thought LOX told y'all the key to life, asshole. You know what I mean? He goes on to finish rapping, but he shouts out the lock. So it wouldn't have been a good look for Cam to do his verse on Banned from TV, shouting out the guys that he's challenging, you know what I mean, at the moment. But overall, I think it was a total win for hip hop. It was totally dope. I'm glad to see that, it didn't go overboard. I know Styles said that, him and Cam talked and beforehand, and he told Cam that it was going to get chippy. You know what I'm saying? And that's an understatement. I mean, Sheik comes out, the first thing he says is, "Let me see these peas." You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the word because it's a vulgar term for a woman's body part. But let me see these peas. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time when Kiss was trying to say something and Cam was talking over him. Kiss said, "Shut the F up." You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like you felt it, man. Like I think at their age and their level of maturity, they understand that they had to have a build to this. You know what I mean? They had to create excitement around this. They didn't want to mess up the bag. And I think at this level of the game and at their age and where they are in the game and their level of maturity, and they're cool at the end of the day. They could take those shots they throw at each other and it's going to bounce off of them. And I think at the end of the day, they understand that, it's all about, creating excitement around verses, man. And, shout out to Dipset, shout out to the Lox. As a hip hop fan, that was a gift, you know what I mean? To watch them go back and forth. Now, everybody's talking about what the next verses might look like. And, I don't know, but if I'm tossing around any ideas in my head, I'm thinking maybe Terror Squad and G Unit. Funny thing about that is, 50 is like he don't see the point of doing verses and because everybody can go back outside. Outside is back open and everybody's not worried about Corona. That was something that was created when everybody was kind of quarantined in the house and had nothing to do. So he don't see the value in it. But this is the trick. See 50, he's slick with it. If you don't see the value in it, then why are you tuning into it? Because 50 definitely has something to say about the Lox and Dipset verses. So he was tuning in. So if you're tuning into it, you have to see the value in it. I think that maybe he don't want to engage in that because he knows that, just like I would say Dipset, his relationship with G Unit is probably not the best right now. What do you do with that? You know what I mean? You got Fat Joe, Terror Squad, and his team. He got Remy. He got Khaled. You know what I mean? He got was the producer's name is Dre. I forget the team that they're part of, but he could pull his team together. Fat Joe got a bunch of hits that he's on. Even if I think they could probably pull the verses off. If it was just say Fat Joe on the stage and 50 on the stage. And they just go back and forth playing they joints. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a dope look for hip hop, man. I swear. I would love to see that happen. I would like to see more West Coast verses. You know what I'm saying? More West Coast acts, go up against each other. I think that'd be a dope look for hip hop as well. Shout out to Timbaland, man. Shout out to Swizz Beatz, man. This versus idea that they came up with, from my understanding, started with Tim and Swizz, and I remember seeing this producers battles out there on YouTube, and before it was even called versus, that was kind of the launching pad of versus according to Swizz. That's where the kind of idea developed from. So I mean, shout out to them, man. Looking forward to the next verses. Real quick, man, I want to talk about something else that's going on in the media, man, in the hip hop world, especially. So all this ban the baby talk. Ban the baby from this, ban the baby from that. They banned the baby from so many things that is memes going around that baby is banned from our, performing at our family reunion, and baby is banned from performing at Sunday choir at church this Sunday. You know what I mean? It's getting crazy, but and people are making light of it. But to me, it's a bigger issue. If you haven't been tuned in at his performance at Lollapalooza, while on stage, the baby made some disparaging remarks, not necessarily about the LGBT community, but it was more so about I think he was just talking. He was saying if you're not gonna be in the parking lot to the dudes, if you're not gonna be in the parking lot S&D, you know what I mean? You know, you could figure out what that is. Then you know, put your lighters up in the air, put your phones up in the air, or make some noise, or something like that. If you ain't got HIV/AIDS, da 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 da, whoop, whoop, whoop. You can check it out. The video's out there. My point is, he didn't say anything specific about the LGBT community. Now, if the LGBT community connects themselves to sucking D in the parking lot or having HIV/AIDS, then that's an issue. That's something they got to look into and examine in their community and figure out why that is. But again, he didn't specifically speak about the alphabet people, and I'm gonna say that because it's easier for me to remember that than all the letters, because it seems like every week they add on another letter. Let me put a disclaimer out there. I don't have anything against the alphabet people. You know what I'm saying? And people that I know, been in close proximity to, that I think are cool people, that I think are dope people. I got family members that's in that lifestyle. I love them. I may be able to talk slick about them, but I ain't gonna let nobody else talk slick about them. That's how I rock. And I don't think that regardless of what your preference is, I don't think it should be denied your human dignity, your human right, or human respect. But everybody has an opinion. And I think in the day and age that we live in, it's starting to feel like a little bit of pressure from that side to willfully accept everything that's going on with it now. I'm of the mind of if you are a man or a woman and you're into the same sex, then cool. You know what I mean? That's your business. But you know you're a man or a woman that's just attracted to the same sex. That's your business. That's your sexual preference. That's what you like. That's what you're into. Fine, more power to you. However, when we get to this whole identity crisis issue, and this is what I call an identity crisis, in my opinion, of a man believing he's a woman or a woman believing he's a man, and then I have to trick myself. Society wants me to trick myself and agree with that. I have a problem with that. You know, I believe that you know, the Most High has given all of us the ability to make sound judgment. And I feel like you're forcing me to go against my sound judgment, my blessing that I'll be given from my Creator to make sound judgment. I believe you're trying to force me to go against my sound judgment to appease someone else's identity crisis or idea of what they think they are. Which, you know, if they weren't born with male genitalia, then they're not a male. They weren't born with female genitalia, they're not a female. You can say you feel this way, feel that way. Tomorrow I might want to wake up and say I feel like a damn cat and walk around and you know, licking myself. I don't know. But does that make me a cat? No. Should I have to force everybody around me to call to me, psst, psst, come here, and pet my head? No, it wouldn't be fair to them. So I think a lot of what's going on these days, especially, is that this is pressure and this feeling. I give you an example. I had a business meeting, and attending this meeting was someone who was supposedly transitioning. It was a female who was supposedly transitioning to a male. So I was forewarned before the meeting that don't address them. I think that the person's name, let's say the person's name was Cicely. Now they wanted to be addressed as Cecil, right? Okay, cool. In my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not, if I can look at somebody and determine who they are and what they are, I'm not going to try to trick myself or trick my mind to appease them or insult my own intelligence to appease them. If I'm looking at a woman, it's a woman. What I won't do is I'm not going to address them by, you know, that name. I'll just say you or hello, or I'll use really generic words when addressing this person, because I feel like I have a right to protect, you know, my sound judgment. So, and that's what I did in that conversation. When I met this person, you talking about transition, I'm like, I don't see any parts of transitioning. This is a woman that I'm looking at. So I think that's kind of like the pressure that society is putting on people who don't necessarily agree with the lifestyle of people in the trans world, and I say trans world more so than the gay community, because a lot of people in the gay community, all right, if you're a gay dude that like dudes, then you're aware of that I'm a man, I'm a gay man, I like that. I'm not saying this, pause. I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm just using it as a reference. Or if you're a gay woman and you like women, then that's what you're into, but you're a woman. You know what I mean? And I can totally respect that. That's your life. That's what you want to do. Cool. But when you start toying with this whole idea of now I have to play into your game, I'm not with that. And another thing that I think is becoming more of an issue is that how I feel like media and people who control the media are trying to indoctrinate kids into this whole idea and this whole world as well. I saw a post that said that they're going to start eliminating sex on babies' birth certificates. So it's just blank. They're just born without a sexual identity now because this is the world that we're moving into. And I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's fair. I know there's laws in place that are allowing, underage kids to take hormones to start to suppress their normal hormones to become whatever they think they are or they want to be. So again, these are certain things that I don't agree with. But again, even people in the trans world, I still wouldn't want to rob them of their human dignity or their right to respect. It's just that don't rob me of my human dignity, my right to respect, or my sound judgment. So again, I think the baby has issued a public apology, which they all do, because they have to. I was just looking at the list. He was being dropped off of so many shows and cut off of so many things, and this is money that he's losing. So they force you to apologize. Now everybody want to have a meeting with him now. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing that happened with Eminem when he made some disparaging remarks about homosexuals. Then, he had to come out holding hands at the MTV Award with Elton John. I mean, like this to me is getting out of hand. If you can't have just one side of the coin. So you're gonna have some people who agree with it. You're gonna have some people that disagree with it, and that's okay. You can't force people to agree, with your belief system, and especially if it's unnatural in the eyes of God. So my thing is, if you're doing all this for the baby, what are you gonna do with the Bible? You know what I mean? The book that's still used every Sunday in churches and worship, where God Himself has killed homosexuals or people committing homosexual acts. When it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah, it talks about He destroyed them. So because this is God's opinion about gays and homosexuals, do you destroy God now, or do you remove God now, or do you eliminate God? Do you destroy the Bible? So where does it stop? Where does it end? So I don't know what's going to happen going forward, but I think that what I'm noticing is more and more people speaking out and speaking their mind when it comes to these issues, and they're not afraid to speak out anymore. Like I said, I don't have any ill will against anyone in the gay and trans community. I just think that you have to draw a line somewhere, especially when it's dealing with young impressionable kids. And again, I think this impacts our kids in the black community even more, because we have a lot of single parent homes. A lot of these young men are growing up with just women in their household. And it can't help when you're telling them that, okay, you can be just like mommy because there's no daddy around. Physically, I mean, like you could physically be like mommy, and you can carry yourself as a woman as mommy does, and that's okay. I don't think that's cool. I really don't think that's cool. So I mean, that's what it is. With this particular podcast, you can catch it on Anchor if you want to listen to it. You can also check the visuals if you're not currently watching it right now on YouTube. I'm definitely going to list my my IG information, my Cash App information. If you want to help a brother out with a donation, for taking his time to come and, give his opinion, and that'll be, greatly appreciated. Please subscribe to this channel. And, we're going to be doing this again. I'm definitely going to try to be more consistent with doing the podcast. I didn't invest in my setup and everything that I got going on with the podcast just to not do it. But again, man, real life situations catch up to you. Yo, Shout out to everybody in Philly. You know, I know I'm rocking the D hat today because it's fly, of course. Shout out to everybody in the D, but you know I'm from Philly. You know what I mean? North Philly, hold it down. Shout out to all my people, all my family out there. And look, Philly, get off the BS, man. Stop killing each other. These young boys out here tripping. I mean, we losing the battle in a big way. You think you're out in the street winning something, man, but you losing. You know what I mean? And we need to pull it in. All the OGs out there. I mean, you know, it's easier said than done, but if you have any kind of impression on these young cats, or if you think they'll heed your word, man, pull them aside, man, get in their ear. If you know what's going on in your hood, if you know this street is going at it with this street, man, you know, try to pull the leaders of both of them, talk to each of them individually, and see if you can broker some type of peace between them. I know bodies have dropped, I know people have died, but it has to stop somewhere. It can't go on forever, or it ain't gonna be no more of y'all out there, man. We're gonna exterminate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So look, again, peace in the world. Shout out to everybody in Philly. Get y'all thing together, man. This is your boy Kai Cutter. This is Loud City Radio, Loud City Podcast. I'll be coming back to y'all again soon. And we out. Be safe. Peace.